Warning. Listening to this show may result in increased levels of inspiration, motivation, and innovation. Side effects can include the immediate urge to take massive action to build a better business and life for yourself and others. You've been warned. Welcome to Influencers Radio with your host, Jack Mize.
Virtual. We hear it all the time. Virtual assistants, virtual tours, virtual reality. I looked up the definition of the word virtual, and the most common definition I find is very close to being something without actually being it. Very close to being something without actually being it. I thought that's pretty vague to be one of the most common definitions. But today we're going to talk about virtual investing, but as it applies to real estate. Because we have probably the Godfather of virtual investing, real estate investing, Mark Evans, DM, is our guest today. And when we talk about virtual investing, you think about it. Most investing, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, in a way that's virtual. Anybody that trades stocks using an E-Trade or any electronic, you don't actually get the stocks necessarily. You don't hold them. You don't see them. They're kind of out there in the netherworld. And that's virtual. We just don't apply the word virtual to it. But when most people think about virtual real estate investing, sometimes they stand back. Well, how do you do that? Houses, they're big things. They're, it's wood, it's metal, it's concrete. How do you virtually invest or virtually flip or virtually, manage that? It seems like it's something that you have to have, in your eyesight, have to touch, because that's weird, kind of what people think about when they're talking about cars, houses, anything like that. Those are generally things that they have emotional attachment to, that they want to touch and feel and smell. However, there are folks that are really doing some pretty amazing things with real estate investing today, in the realm of virtual real estate investing, where they don't actually participate, see houses, swing hammers, or anything like that. And that's why I wanted to bring on Mark Evans, DM, because he is a true influencer when it comes to virtual real estate investing. And has certainly affected a lot of people out there that maybe thought that it was out of their reach investing in real estate, and also showing them that it's quite a few different ways that they may have not have thought about on how to do that. So stick around. We'll be right back with Mark Evans, DM.
Don't miss a thing. Listen to and download past episodes, get show notes, resource lists, and leave feedback at influencersradio.com.
And we are back with Influencers Radio. And today, our guest, Mark Evans, DM. He is known as the Godfather of virtual real estate investing. We're going to find out exactly what that is. But what's really, I think, sets Mark apart, and what really intrigues me, is that he's, traveled the world while building a massive real estate empire. And one of the things you won't see him doing or hear about him doing is what you think about when you think about investing in real estate and flipping houses. He doesn't swing hammers. He doesn't, do the painting. He doesn't roll carpet. He owns a business, and I want to dig deeper into that for sure. Mark, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. And I'm going to tell you right now, before I even forget, I want to know, I've just come to know you, and it's just second nature, Mark Evans, DM, and it struck me. DM, let's see, is he a dentist, or what is DM? No, that's not dentist. What is DM? What is the Mark Evans DM? Because it's just synonymous. People just call you that. You're known as that, and it was just second nature to me, and I got to find out, what is DM?
Absolutely. It actually has two meanings. The first meaning is to my mother. It means dream maker. My goal is to make my mom and my parents, their dreams come true through real estate and everything I've done. But really what it means is deal maker. I'm a deal maker.
Well, okay. It makes sense. Dream maker, deal maker. I'll take either one of them. So now I know. I'll look at it a whole different way now. I won't always have that question. So let's dig into this. Virtual real estate investing. Virtual, such a probably a broad definition. I want to find out, what you define virtual as when you're talking about real estate investing.
Yeah, that's a great question. We get asked it all the time. What virtual investing is to me is, we can say virtual, and kind of virtual, everyone knows, like, virtual environments, or, because the internet world exists, the interweb. But at the end of the day, virtual to me is a mindset. See, I have a lot of clients that come to me and say, Mark, I want to do investing in my hometown. And I'm like, well, be virtual about it. Meaning, start focusing on the business. Really, to me, virtual is a business builder, a business owner, not a real estate investor. They're two totally separate things. And I've done both. And I can tell you, being a virtual investor, if it's doing houses in your backyard or buying apartment complexes in your backyard and or buying them all the way across the other side of the country, you can be virtual because you have a team, you have a structure, you have people, you have processes and products. And that's what virtual is to me.
Well, I think what really struck me and made me get a good picture in my mind's eye about what you do is when, we were talking a little earlier about, these house flipping shows that you see and these, some of these infomercials where, they're showing the investor, they're showing that entrepreneur actually getting dirty in there, going in there and swinging a sledgehammer, or, working with contractors, or, having their calculator out and having their measuring tape out, really being hands on in this. And the fact is that a lot of people that want to be business owners, invest, don't know the first thing about, that part of the business, but they still like to take advantage of those opportunities. When you're saying virtual, does that mean how many houses have you done that you haven't even seen or stepped foot in?
We've done thousands of units. So I've been virtual since December 31st, 2005. That's when I decided to leave Columbus, Ohio, and say, there's got to be a better way. Truth is, I was working 16, 18 hours a day. I'd done hundreds of rehab projects like those crazy people on TV you see. And the truth is, it's hard. I don't have enough hair anymore, honestly. So I just said, there's got to be a better way. And I picked up the book, an E-Myth book by Michael Gerber, and I just started thinking about it and saying, how can I do this better? And now being virtual, I can be sitting on the beach, talk in Palm Beach, Florida, on a cell phone, a flip phone. I don't have a smartphone. I have a flip phone, talking to a team online via the phone. And, my property managers, my project managers, my COO, all these different little pieces of people that are helping you, build this virtual environment. And, I'm not going into any of these properties anymore. I'm done with it.
Well, I've got to ask this, and because there's something that just is sticking in my mind that, making my brain itch a little bit. And that is that, the risk factor. Well, isn't it a little bit risky to invest in houses or properties that you never look at? You're talking about spending a lot of money on it's a house, and to buy that, sight unseen, it seems like there's a high degree of risk there.
Well, there's risk in anything in life. There's risk getting out of bed at the end of the day. Here, do this. Go to your local RIA club. I always tell people, if you're not doing at least 10 deals a month, go to your local RIA club and talk to people. There's people buying and selling in your backyard that have went to the property 100 times. They've nearly went bankrupt and or went bankrupt, and they're there at the house every single day. It's not about that. You have to understand what risk and reward is. So what we do as a virtual environment, like, I know more about what's going on with my properties today because I'm focusing on things that matter. I have zero emotional attachment to any of these properties. I'm only focusing on the numbers. Oftentimes when you're local, you drive there and you become infatuated with the house. You start talking yourself into the deal. And you don't have to believe me. Turn on these TV shows and they go to the auctions. They're like, my budget's $60,000 to buy. And then all of a sudden they buy for $75,000 because their emotions took over. There's zero emotions in our business as a buyer and the seller of investments. We specifically are just looking at numbers. So as an investor saying risky, it's all relative because we have pictures in today's, in our world online on the interweb, we can have pictures sent to us anywhere at any time. We can send someone over there for $50 to do all this work for us while we're sitting with our kids or hanging out at church or hanging out at the beach or traveling the world. And they can do videos, they can do pictures. If you walk into a house and there's a hole in the ceiling, I'm not fixing that hole in the ceiling. I can't do anything about it. But I can be in Palm Beach and I can initiate and have someone do it. It's going to get fixed no matter what. So the key is really, what are you focusing on? We focus on growing the business, and we have systems, people, and processes in place to do that. Well, so I think it's less risky being virtual.
Yeah, well, I mean, what you just described does sound far more like a business than what, the folks that I know that are doing real estate and flipping houses, because they do, like you said, those 16-hour days. And when you said 10 houses a month, if you're not doing at least 10 houses a month, I know folks that are, working 16 hours a day, and they just don't have the capacity. There's no way that they could do 10 houses a month. And when you talk about that emotional attachment, you do see on the TV shows where they go from buying a house to how much time they're spending on, wouldn't this color paint look good here? Oh, wouldn't this be nice if we opened this up? And I think, how can you do 10 deals a month when you're that committed and getting that granular on the deal? So I guess when you say, the risk in not seeing the properties, from what I just heard from you, it's actually probably less risky because you get less involved in that granular day-to-day stuff, and you do just focus more on the business. Would you say that was the key of doing more houses, is to think about them less?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think, again, virtual to me is a mindset. So once you look at things and, like you said, on a granular level, I'm in this business to make money. I remember going back in the day, I'd walk in a house, there's cat feces everywhere, there's drug needles everywhere, and I'm like, oh, this smells like money. And no, it doesn't. It smells like cat. You know what? It's disgusting. I don't want to be in there anymore. So when you can detach from that, again, and start building a business, stop being an investor. And the truth, just last week, we did 14 deals in a week. There's no way that I could ever done 14 deals in a week, 8 years ago when I was doing this business by myself. Doing it onesie twosies and rehabbing and all that. Yeah,
to me, it sounds like you're going from being a real estate investor mindset to a real estate entrepreneur mindset.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that would, that's a huge shift from what I see people thinking that real estate investing is. And even when they romanticize about it, they probably think, oh, that looks fun, going and swinging a sledgehammer and knocking down a wall, until you are faced with, the time and effort that takes. All right. So I know a lot of people are thinking to themselves, okay, so virtual investing, this sounds like something that, I can do if I don't have to know how to build a house. I don't know how to fix a house, and I don't have to be at the houses. What are, some of the criteria that people would need to be able to do this?
Well, first you got to be able to, first off, know what you want to do. I think that's step one. I think a lot of times people don't even have an idea what they want their end goal to be. Therefore, if you're ever confused or unfocused or unsure where to start, it's because you don't know, so how can someone else help you? So you just really start becoming scattered. I would say sit down and create your ideal lifestyle. This is what we did. This is what I did to change my life. I sit down and created my ideal lifestyle and said, how can I build my business around me instead of how do I build me around my business, which was a huge difference for me. So I think, you definitely need to have motivated sellers. I see a lot of people talk to just sellers, which will kill your business, because sellers aren't your prospects. Motivated sellers are. Big, big, big difference. And then have a good product. So if you're in California, which we have a lot of clients in California, they're investing in the Midwest, because you can buy 10 houses in the Midwest, what you can buy one little shack in California for. So knowing your market space, becoming professional, building a good team, property manager, property inspector, real estate lawyer, real estate agents, and all these pieces that are going to take to allow you to grow.
And I guess well, I guess that's where the virtual comes in, is being able to expand you're not stuck to your local geography, which a lot of people think that they need to do with real estate. You have the whole country to pick and choose from, with the same confidence level that you could have or think that it would require you to, have it in your backyard. Which I think it definitely opens up huge opportunities from people that do live in California, or places where, real estate is probably, ridiculously priced. And, you talked about clients. What I want to find out now is what I know that makes you an influencer is that, you've built this lifestyle for yourself. You've developed this system. And the reason you're known as the Godfather of virtual real estate investing is because of the people that have, taken your map that you created as you went through and duplicated and you've made it duplicatable, which I think is tremendous and what really makes you an influencer. I want to ask you, what is it that happens that somebody that goes in and takes a look at your map and goes to duplicate it successfully, even if they haven't gone through the trials and tribulations of being that investor that swings the hammer and rolls the paint?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is it's just like grandma's recipe at home, like on her snickerdoodles. She can hand you the recipe, but you got to deploy it. It's not, the cookies don't make themselves. So people come into us, we hand them a roadmap from A to Z. We give them the pieces that allow them to be successful. And once they grasp the concept of being virtual, it changes people's lives. Would you rather be swinging a hammer or hanging out on the beach, or swinging a hammer, dealing with crazy contractors, or going to your child's recital, their violin recital or church recital, whatever? Like, it really is a lifestyle, and it's an amazing one at that.
It is. And I think what you just said is the reason why we don't see a flipping house show around the Mark Evans DM strategy, because where would the conflict be? That's what I'm trying to figure out. You wouldn't, it would be a pretty boring show. Here's, a flipping house show that just shows Mark hanging out with his family and being at home and being on vacation is definitely a boring flipping house show. So that's true.
What was on for dinner.
All right. Well,
conflict of the day.
So unfortunately, you may have built a great lifestyle, but you've ruined your chances at a reality show around this. So I guess you picked the right path though, with that. Well, here's what I want to find out.
Uh-huh.
You've clearly influenced a lot of people. You've changed the direction of a lot of both seasoned and brand spanking new real estate investors to take this virtual path. I want to find out what influences the influencer. What is it that drives you and motivates you to do what you do?
Yeah, it may sound weird. And, again, it's not like, business books and all that stuff, even though I've read hundreds, if not thousands of business books and listened to many shows like this. But my grandmother, she was an awesome lady. She was a mentor to me. She gave me direction. She gave me insights like, work hard, do the right thing even when it hurts. And, we thought she was going to live a long time, and she went in for a routine checkup, and she ended up getting, she had stage 4 cancer and died 2 weeks later.
Oh, my.
So something inside of driving me, honestly, is life is short. The problem is a lot of people are alive, but they're not living. So at that moment, that happened October 8, 2005. I moved everything. I changed my whole world December 31st, 2005, and traveled the world for 2.5 years because I set out because my grandmother, I'm like, out of everyone that I think would ever, pass so quickly, my grandmother was the least one I thought because she was tough as nails. But again, there's no discrimination in cancer or anything like that. So she's my big driving force, waking up to get out and share and do big things and, and do it the right way. Because I've done it wrong. So, in a business, there's a lot of moving pieces. So my grandmother's been, a very, very big motivation for me.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what, I like to hear those influences. Some people, when I ask them what their influences are, they, give those, typical, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's the thing. And that's inspirational, for sure. Mm-hmm. But what's influence, that right there is influence. And that's a fantastic story, right there. Because you can be influenced by things that have nothing to do with your business, and they can have some of the biggest impact on what it is you do. And I think that right there puts a spotlight on it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mark Evans, DM, what would folks need to do if they want to find out more about what you do and see how you do it?
Yeah, I have a great website over at markevansdm.com. They could get over there. They can learn more about me. I have a lot of great free training up there, watch videos, learn about how to wholesale, what that even means, to do deals with no cash, no credit in the beginning, just to build up your bank and then take it to another level. But I'd love for them to go to the website and, follow me and learn more about what we do every day.
That is, I think you just I bet some eyebrows raised when you just talked about the wholesale thing. We may have to have you back talking about that, because I know that would, people are into that. And that's one of those things that I think I've seen, some of those, infomercials that make it sound like it's some ninja proprietary trick that they came up with. And I know, from you that it's just, it's just a solid business practice that can be done. So I think that's something we're going to have to come back. Or you can go to markevansdm.com and find out about that as well. Mark, I want to thank you so much for coming on and, opening up open up the eyes of myself and others, around this concept and the opportunity of, virtual real estate investing, because to a lot of people, they just didn't think this was an option.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, and, I look forward to helping you out if whatever I can do. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, no, fantastic. I tell you, folks, you check this out, because this really is something that is, if you've been in real estate, if you've thought about doing real estate investing, if you've looked at the infomercials, but really, if you've actually known people that have been real estate investors and you've seen them just work their fingers to the bone around this, there's a lot better way. And I've seen this, I've seen the results, and I've actually seen the results of what Mark's, clients are doing, which is really remarkable. So go check it out. And the main thing is you implement it, you're successful at it. Be an influencer yourself. Go out and influence others, and you'll get that back tenfold, 100-fold. But always remember, you are the only real game changer. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Influencers Radio. To get all past shows and updates on future shows, visit influencersradio.com today or follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/influencersradio.